Hey, fellow Cortanas, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Copivian, and today we are ranking my top 10 favorite episodes from Season 13 of Supernatural. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 10, Tombstone. So, Sam, Dean, Castiel all reunite with the Nephilim Jack. Still not sure as to what he's capable of. Both him and the brothers, as well as Castiel, nobody is wanting to try and piss off the Nephilim. Unfortunately, we do get to see a little bit of his power, not only from the first episode, but also in this episode, and it has tragic consequences for one of the outside characters in this story, and it leads to Dean really not trusting Jack even further. And Castiel and Sam essentially take Jack back to the bunker while Dean is left to try and hunt down what is offing people and taking the face of one of his favorite all-time Western idols. Anytime Jensen or Dean get to be around anything Western, I think it's a good day at work. He even gets to sleep in a Western-style room. All in all, very memorable episode. Number 9, Lost and Found. So, Sam and Dean have to try and come to terms with the loss of Mary and the death of Castiel, as well as the birth of Lucifer's son, which we get to see right off the bat a small bit of his power, of what he's capable of doing, as he throws Sam and Dean back into a wall after Dean shoots at Jack. Jack goes off and searches for where is he? What is this new place that he's in? He doesn't know it. He doesn't understand it yet. He's literally an infant in an adult's body. Wild and crazy is this first episode of this season, and it just keeps getting crazier when a team of angels come to the jail where Jack is currently locked inside, and Sam and Dean have to fight their way out, literally, but Sam gets to know Jack just a little bit, and also gets to see his power firsthand as he takes out an angel. That right there shows how much unknowing there is to this first episode and to this season. Also the fact of how upset and rage-filled Dean gets right at the beginning with Mary not being there anymore and Dean just being absolutely done with everything. Even tries to call Chuck to come down and help. But, of course, he's waltzing through the universe with Amara. Tough and emotional first episode, but a very good episode. Number 8, Good Intentions. While Jack and Mary are locked away in Apocalypse World, they come across one Bobby Singer. Great to have Jim Beaver back in Supernatural, and unexpected nonetheless. But this episode just goes even deeper into how do we get to Apocalypse World for Sam and Dean? How do we open this rift without Jack now? He's on the other side, and we're stuck here with a lot of questions and no answers to grasp at. And it's also really cool to see even deeper into Apocalypse World as Jack and Mary try and figure out how to deal with coming across Bobby Singer, and how Bobby Singer has essentially become one of the biggest leaders in this world. Number 7, Patience. Been a long time since we had seen the psychic Missouri Mosley, since the first season in Home. This was great to see her back, but unfortunately, it would also mean the end for the character. Sadly, we wouldn't get too many more episodes with her. A Wraith clearly is going after Missouri Mosley's family, and her granddaughter just so happens to have the gift, which her father is not pleased at. Sam and Dean are struggling with a lot already through this season, and to come across an old friend and then to have her also die just makes more anger for Dean and more frustration for Dean that I can't keep losing these people that I love and I care about, and it just drives him more and more and more, to the point where we've seen Dean before where he just feels like he just keeps losing friends and family left and right, to the point of, okay, Dean, you're going back down the road that you just pretty much got off of. Let's not lose it any further. But a very good episode. Number 6, Unfinished Business. Been a little bit since we've seen Gabriel, and been a little bit since we've known why he is still alive. Well, the fact that he's still alive is because he was with Asmodeus. Another fact is that the reason why Gabriel looks the way he looks is because he took up the trickster's form, Loki's form. And it was all in a thanks of gratitude to Gabriel for saving Loki. However, Gabriel wanted to learn the trickster's ways, and he did. The character of Gabriel, who would cross the brothers' paths once again when they're on the hunt for something that's offing various amounts of people. Turns out that they're pretty much all linked to Loki, and Gabriel is on a revenge tour. One of the few times where we would see Gabriel actually take up arms after he finally decided to not be on the sideline anymore during the Apocalypse era, and would finally start to fight for himself back and get himself slowly back into the fold. A great episode for Gabriel, and an even better episode for the Trickster to really see what Loki could do. Number 5, Wayward Sisters. Sam and Dean, locked away in the dark place. The girls, Claire, Alex, Sheriff Mills, and Sheriff Donna, are all trying to figure out how to get them back from the dark place. Meanwhile, a bunch of nasty little critters are also trying to take over this new world that they have been thrusted in. A crazy episode and a great episode to just get to be with these characters for an entire episode, to try and get Sam and Dean back and see how they all operate together, and see Claire's push to put herself in danger just the same as Sam and Dean are, and that scares Sheriff Mills. She doesn't want to lose Claire at all. It also comes in the form of a vision from Kaya, who would be the one character, the Dreamwalker, that could open the rifts, and why Jack and Mary would meet in the Apocalypse world. Of course, they do get Sam and Dean back, but they feel that they have lost Kaya the Dreamwalker in doing so. Number 4, The Scorpion and the Frog. Richard Brake in this episode is absolutely great. He's a great actor. I've always been a fan of Richard Brake, and this just showcases more of his acting ability, and the fact that he's immortal, and Dean and Sam get to do some pretty interesting stuff when they're trying to get to the ritual that they feel will be able to open the rift to the other side of the Apocalypse world so they can try and save Mary. Unfortunately, it doesn't all go to plan in the end, but using Richard Brake's character as a dartboard, I'm sorry, but that's entertaining. That was pretty fun. Number 3, let the good times roll. The season finale to this incredible season of Supernatural. This one, however, would lead us down the road that we, as Dean fans, or just Supernatural fans in general, really didn't want to see Dean take. After they get Jack, Mary, Bobby, and the rest of the survivors from the Apocalypse world back to regular Earth, essentially, they now have to contend with something that is killing off the survivors. Well, somehow Lucifer and Michael, Apocalypse World Michael, have made it back to our world and has put down a gauntlet of where and how is this going to go. Well, it ends up with Lucifer taking Sam and Jack to an abandoned church where he would try and influence Jack to go to his side even more. Sam would fight with every inch to try and keep Jack from going Lucifer's way. Of course, in the end, Dean would say yes to Michael, a decision that would alter a lot for the brothers moving forward. Idea that Dean had fought against for so long, but had finally come to terms with, that Lucifer has to die. He has to go away. There's no other option, and he says yes to Michael, who Dean thinks is going to honor his deal, but of course we've already established that angels are dicks and only out for themselves, especially Apocalypse World Michael. A very tough season finale that would, of course, lead us into season 14 and a lot of questions for Dean moving forward as well. Number 2, breakdown. So Sheriff Donna's niece goes missing and Sam and Dean are called in to try and figure out what is going on. Little do they know that the monsters have their own black market. And of course, a human is well in knowing of this and is willing to help them as well. That was probably the biggest thing that made this episode one of my favorites from this season, because it was so fascinating to see that these monsters are essentially doing a hostile situation and are taking these people and putting them on line for other monsters to bet against to try and get whatever innards or outards they may want from them for their own sustenance. It was a gruesome episode and a very kind of, oh my God, I can't really believe that this is kind of happening situation, but in the end, of course, Sam and Dean do figure things out and do set things right and save Donna's niece, but it almost comes at a pretty hefty price with Donna's, at the time, boyfriend, sheriff boyfriend, starting to see a peek into this world, and he also gets turned into a vampire, which luckily they have a cure for, and they take all procedures necessary in order to save him. But of course, that relationship also comes to a head for Sheriff Donna. Number 1, Scooby Natural. How could I not put this at number 1? Dean trying to nail Daphne. Sam trying to come to terms with that he is now 2D. Castiel being Castiel. The Scooby Gang being the Scooby Gang at first, and then all of a sudden the big break of, by the way, ghosts are very much real. Everything about this episode was wild, crazy, fun, and time honored. I mean, just the fact that at first Sam and Dean are thrown into a Scooby-Doo cartoon, and then it turns out that what is going on in the side of this haunted house is actually a very real haunting, and Sam and Dean have to break it to Fred and the gang as to what's really going on here, and to see Fred and the gang take up Sam and Dean's way of hunting ghosts, it's such an out there and wild episode. And of course, if it's out there and wild in the realm of supernatural, I'm going to be right there every single time. It is a fun episode, and without a shadow of a doubt, from season 13 especially, the best and most memorable episode out of the season. So, that is going to conclude my top 10 favorite episodes from season 13 of Supernatural. I thank you all so much for watching. Always remember to imagine your dream, create your happiness, and live your life on the edge. And I will see you in that next episode. See ya.